Hello, I'm Ryan F9, and if I'm buying a full face, it'll be one of these four. Correction! If I'm buying a full face and I ride a naked bike, it'll be one of one. This one, the Arai Defiant Pro Cruise. This helmet was specifically designed for use on fairingless motorcycles, and that's a rare thing. In an upright position and facing an unadulterated blast of wind, the Arai Defiant transmits the least amount of wind noise and turbulence, perfect for naked bikes. This lower spoiler deflects air away from the neck roll, which is where the majority of wind noise would otherwise sneak in. Also, we have Arai's pull-down chin curtain, which seals that same gap. And the style is technically aggressive with all of these vent cowlings and, ta-da, the Sunpeak. This was born from Arai's desire to pass Snell ratings, by the way. See, Snell doesn't like internal sun visors because they create a discontinuity in the shell and the EPS foam where that inner visor would retract. So Arai beat the problem by designing an external drop-down visor that doesn't mess with the inner safety structures at all. And it worked. Snell had to suck it up and slap a sticker on here. But that still doesn't mean the sun visor is any good. Coverage is fine from the front, but Arai trimmed it way too high at the sides, so a lot of glare leaks in. Of course, I have almost no alternatives when it comes to Snell helmets with sunshades, so I won't complain too loud. Other pros and cons. Pro. These visor vents actually flow air into channels that run back to the temples, which cools your blood better. Pro, this sliding lock lets you open the visor by just a crack to defog the lens, which is cool. And con, the liner is unusually scratchy for a $750 helmet. Fitment-wise, the Arai Defiant is a neutral head shape with 5mm of peel-away foam on each pad, so pretty much anyone can get a good customized fit. And this size large weighs 1,765 grams, which is really too much for a fancy aerospace fiberglass shell. But some of that weight undoubtedly comes from the wider and heavier lower bottom lip, which Arai did on purpose because it makes the helmet easier to pull on and it lowers the center of gravity for stability. Now obviously I could fill this list with $1,000 buckets, but that would be too easy, too boring, and totally disregarding for any sense of value. So instead I chose a budget alternative to every premium helmet on this list, and for the Arai Defiant, it's the Icon Alliance GT. This is an upright or slightly tucked touring and commuting helmet just like the Arai, but it costs $300 or less. The Alliance GT has that aggressive look too. Icon's famously funky graphics help with that, same with the gilded sun visor. Bling bling. And unlike the Arai, this sunshade actually shades all of your eyes from the sun. If you prefer having a dark face shield to a drop-down visor, then you can get the Icon Alliance Dark for $100 less. This one does come with two different face shields in the box, and it is a killer deal, although it did take me about 5 minutes to swap the dark one for this clear visor, while I can do this in half a second. So for me, goodbye Alliance Dark. I love how the Alliance GT screws with premium competitors like the Arai Defiant. It's a basic polycarb shell, and yet somehow it manages to weigh nearly 100 grams less. The inner lining is Hydro Dry. It's one of the softest and nicest in the industry, which puts the Arai Defiant's liner to shame. And while Arai was busy molding expensive visor vents and designing that fog-clearing slide lock, well, Icon just cut a big freaking hole that flows an equal amount of air. Also, the Alliance GT has a similarly precise fit, and I could barely tell that it was any louder. I'm gonna get crucified by the Arai army for saying that, but it's the truth. Of course, Icon did get caught with their pants down in other places. This shield lock could have been designed by a caveman. It's just a peg in a hole. I can't imagine why Icon thought that was a good idea. It's really difficult to open. I think the Alliance GT is one of the best, most versatile full faces for my money. Only problem is that it's a long oval head shape, and that's not gonna work for round noggins. Also, there is no speaker cutouts in this helmet, and on a narrow lid, that means it's actually damn difficult to install a comm system. So we've seen two bread and butter full faces, but now let's get specific with the sport category. On the premium side, I choose the Bell Race Star because it's gorgeous. Cue that montage. Alright, cool down. Two-tone carbon fiber, glittering gold, and an Ace Cafe patch aren't the only reasons I picked this lid. The real reason I love the Race Star is because it is the perfect middle ground in Bell's family. You have the basic Star for $500, this Race Star for $850, and then the Pro Star for $1,300, and I can say with full confidence that the Race Star gets all of the important upgrades and none of the useless expensive ones. Let me explain. The Raystar has race view ergonomics, meaning it's meant to be used in the full tuck position, and the eye port has been hugely extended both vertically and horizontally since the old Star model. You really want that when you've got Johnny Track Day hanging over your shoulder. The Raystar has it, so does the Pro, but the base Star model is more of an upright touring viewport, so forget about it. This helmet also gets a 3-layer impact liner. Look at it here. Light density for small impacts, medium for medium, and heavy density for big crashes. This is one of the safest racing helmets on the market thanks to that triple density foam, and of course the Race and Pro Stars get it while the base Star does not. Next. This liner is called Virus Jade Power Mesh. Why you name an antibacterial fabric Virus is kind of beyond me, but it does do an amazing job of keeping you cool in the heat of the race. There are jade minerals embedded into the fabric itself, and that has a natural cooling effect. As you've probably guessed, the Raystar gets this system, as does the Pro, but the base Star misses out again. So obviously the Raystar is worth the $300 over the base model, but should I spend another $450 for the Pro Star? No! The Race and Pro Star both get full carbon shells, so you're just paying for a slightly thinner type of carbon fiber by choosing the Pro. But listen guys, the Star was never going to be a light helmet to begin with. This long profile weighs something, the aerodynamic spoiler weighs something, the triple density foam weighs a lot of something, so shaving a few grams on a $450 shell upgrade with an already pretty heavy helmet is stupid. A few last things I like about the Raystar. These emergency cheek pads are held in place by magnets. The medics certainly won't struggle with them, and neither will you if you knock them out by accident. The chin strap snap is magnetic too. And this duffel helmet bag is included, which is nice. I mean, Bell could charge $50 for this on its own, and they do. Fitment-wise, the Raystar is snug, snug, snug. My 58cm head puts me in a medium, and I can barely get it on. Of course, I do want that precise fit when I'm taking this helmet to the track, and since it has a Snell sticker, all of those tracks should be open to me. You might remember that the old Star helmet was loud as hell. Well, know that this new generation is not. Just the face shield whistles like a banshee when it's open, but nobody really rides like that anyway. Now, a cheaper alternative to the Raystar would be HJC's new Alpha 11 Pro. $500 might not sound like a budget choice, but it really is when you consider the league this helmet plays in. 1,420 grams makes it one of the lightest sport helmets out there, far lighter and slimmer than the Raystar, which is wild because it's only partially carbon fiber. PIM Plus means HJC filled in the rest with fiberglass and aramids. In terms of ventilation, this helmet is in a league of its own. The Alpha 11 Pro is a tornado machine, more airflow than almost anything I've worn. The eye port is decently large too and has been extended vertically to improve my field of view in that full tuck position. It's also a center locking visor just like the Raystar, which is nice because lefties always seem to get screwed on that. And the only downside is these tear-off pegs. They are enormous and they totally annoy my peripheries. In general though, yeah, the optics are premium level, and HJC even threw in a tinted visor in the box. Ergonomics are in the elite class as well. Oriented for a full tuck, HJC also cropped the shell up at the sides to aid in shoulder checks. You might remember that from Shoei's legendary RF 1200, and now that we've brought up the elephant in the room, yeah, the Alpha 11 Pro is essentially an RF 1200 that costs $100 less. Only difference is that this HJC is loud as shit, but you sport riders should be using earplugs anyway. That and it misses out on a Snell sticker, which is a bummer for some tracks that require it. Oh, I almost forgot, order a size larger than usual because the Alpha 11 Pro fits way too small. So, naked helmet, cheapest helmet, safest helmet, lightest helmet, casual helmets, sport helmets, collectively, my favorite lovely to wear full face helmets. Thanks for watching.